Good afternoon, fourth standard. So, why don't all of you just look out the window of your house? Can you see any animals, birds, insects, anything outside your window? I'm sure you can. Can you name them? Anything. A crow, a dog, a cat, or maybe there's a pond near your house so you can see some fish too. Okay, so there are many different types of animals that we see around us. And they're put into different groups. Okay, so now I just asked you all what animals you saw out of your window. Now I'm sure each one of you has a favorite animal, right? What's your favorite animal? You all can put it into the comments box if you'd like to. So you can tell me what's your favorite animal, okay? Or if you have a pet at home too. Now, these animals, they're all different types, isn't it? They're all different. They have their own special characteristics or special traits, right? So, what groups do we usually put these into? Now, the various groups are, we call them mammals, birds, fish, amphibians, and reptiles. Okay, so now let's see that first group there, reptiles. Now, reptiles is a group that mainly has different types of lizards. Okay, it has snakes, crocodiles, and turtles and tortoise. There are many more than this, of course. And here, this is just a picture of a few of them. But most of them, if you notice, like the crocodile, it has a scaly, dry skin, right? So most it goes with the snake too. Snake. The skin is dry and scaly. Okay. Now, all of these creatures, they mostly lay eggs on land. Okay. Now, here you have the turtle and you have the tortoise. They look similar, but actually they're different. Okay. Now, you might ask me what's the difference between a tortoise and a turtle. Tortoise spends most of its time on land, whereas a turtle is more adapted to spend most of its life in water. And the shell of the turtle is thinner, whereas the tortoise's shell is more, rounded and thicker and more of a dome shape. Okay, now you can see that in the picture there too, right? Lizard, I'm sure you've seen, I mean, running on the walls of our houses, right? And you've seen the skink and the gecko. They resemble the lizard a little bit. Of course, then the chameleon that you see there. Now, can anybody tell me what's special about the chameleon? Anybody? Anything you've heard about a chameleon, where it lives, its color, anything? Okay, I'll give you a hint. You may have heard the word camouflage. Now, if y'all can find out the word camouflage and connect it with the chameleon, you can put it in the comments box for me. So let's see if anybody's interested enough to find out about the chameleon. What's special about the chameleon? Okay. Now there's another group. Now this group, I'm sure most of you have heard about all these animals and you've seen some of them too. So you see there's a llama, a lynx. A lynx is one that belongs to the cat family. See a mole that looks like a rat, right? Monkey, mouse, ox, otter, horse, orangutan, narwhal, pig, polar bear, porcupine, puma, rabbit, tiger, sheep, rhinoceros, rat, raccoon. Usually we don't see raccoons in India. Walrus, weasel too, dogs, everywhere around the world. Everybody must have seen a dog. And wolf and the zebra. Now, all these creatures together are called mammals. Most of them have fur and hair. Okay, and this group of animals have proper lungs to breathe. Okay, and they have well developed senses also. Okay, so and these creatures, most of them, they don't lay eggs. Now, here I'm reminded of a question that I'd like to ask you. There's only one mammal that flies. Can you find out the name and tell me? If you can find out, and you do find it out, just put it in the comments box for me, okay? Where you have put in the good morning for me, you can put it in there. Okay, now let's go on to another group. Now, here, fish. Now, here, there are lots of different types of fishes: sharks, eel, starfish, right? Um, Guppies, angelfish, pufferfish, angelfish, guppies, German guppies, jellyfish, all these. They're different kinds of fish. And because they live in water, we call them aquatic. Aquatic. Okay. Now, we do, in that itself, we do have fish that live in salt water, that's in the ocean or the seas, or you have freshwater fish too. Now, what are the various characteristics of what makes them different, all these fish? They have fins which help in their movement, and because they live in water, they breathe with gills. With gills, okay? They have a scaly skin, right? And they lay many eggs, okay? Now, the next group here is amphibians, okay? Now, in this group, we see the frog, the toad, the newt. The newt is like a salamander, that is it's a lizard-like creature. Like you saw the picture above there, the salamander also. These creatures usually lay eggs, and they live on land and water. Okay, so they are adapted to live on both these surfaces. That means they can live on land, they can be terrestrial, and they can live in water, where you say that they are aquatic too, to a certain extent, right? So here you have the frog. So the frog belongs to this class of animals called amphibians. So there's one more group. Can any of you guess what it is? Yes, birds. Birds. Where do we see the birds most? The trees, right? And what's special about the birds? They live in the air, they have wings to move, right? And we call them aerial creatures. Okay? So I hope you've got an idea about the different types of animals and the different types of groups of animals. Okay? And you're able to think of examples of them too. So what are the various groups once again? Mammals, reptiles, amphibians, fish, and birds. Okay? So I'm sure you've got an idea of the various groups of animals, and I'm sure if you think of any animal, you'll be able to put it in any one of these groups. Okay, now you remember I mentioned the sloth to you, a lazy bear-like looking creature. Which group does that belong to? And where do you usually find the sloth? Remember, we read about in the fact file too on the previous page. Okay, so listen to the poem once again, A Visit with Mr. Tree Frog, and tomorrow we'll do the poem together. Okay, so good afternoon once again, fourth standard, and I hope you'll have a colorful day. See you all tomorrow.